So we have seen so many widgets on our fixed UI of our emulator. Now what if we want to have some scrollable layout on our emulator device? For that purpose, Flutter gave us the widget ListView, which is far more simple and easy to use widget as compared to the native Android development of ListView or scrollable view. Because in native Android, there is a lot of manual configuration for building a list view or a scrollable view in the emulator. Anyways, let's talk about what is list view widget in Flutter. So it's obvious from its name, list view, meaning that the scrollable list of views or widgets. Again, if you have some native Android development background, so you might be familiar with something called view. And in Flutter, the list view is defined as the scrollable list of widgets arranged linearly, and it displays its children one after another in the scroll direction, and the direction can be vertical or also the horizontal. So now let's see how we can create the list view in our Flutter application. So down here we have the material app and also the home page. So let's not think we only can call this home page widget in here. We can also call the other widgets in here, like we have in the 4th lesson we have learned the how can we create the login page. So we have this login page. So if you wrap this column with the widget and make it scaffold and change this child to body and give it some app bar class and give it some title, text, and let's name it login page. Now after this, as you can see, this is our stateless widget. So we can just copy this login page from here, and in the main.dart, let's simply paste this login page on the place of home page and simply import this library, or we can also say our dart file. Hit enter, so this will be imported in here. You can see it in here. And now when you press Ctrl S to hot reload, so you can see we got our login page which we have created in the previous section of login page. So now let's again call this home page in here. So now we are going to build or learn how we can deal with list view in Flutter. So down here we have the center widget. So let's remove the center widget from here and put the list view in here. So we got the list view with the list of children. So same like the list, rows and columns, the list view also accepts the list of children. And inside this, we are not going to create any container, but in here we have some special widget in the list view, that is the list tile widget. The list tile widget is used to populate the list view, and this gives us so many widgets like title, subtitle, leading, and the trailing. Like we can populate our list view using its properties. Its most important properties are leading, title, subtitle, and also the trailing. The leading means the widget that will be aligned at the leading, like in here, and the title will be aligned in here, and the subtitle will be down here or right after this title, and the trailing will be at the end. So that are the main widget of list tile, which is used to populate the list view. So first of all, in the leading, if you hover this leading, it accepts the widget. So we are going to have a container in the leading property. So in the leading property, we have created a widget of container. We give it width of 50 and height of 50, and the decoration, box decoration, the color is gray, and we set the shape of this container box shape.circle. So it will become directly the circle, or you can also do with the border radius, like you can set the border radius to 25, so it will become the circle. But this is also the good way to do it by just changing its shape to box shape.circle. And next we have this title, which accepts also the widget. So in here we will pass our text widget just because that is the title, so obviously there will be some text. And next we have this subtitle, so there will also be some text just like this title. So let's copy this username from here and paste it in the subtitle and change it to, let's say, some description. And in the trailing, this also accepts a widget. So in the trailing, we are going to have one icon. So up until now we have learned so many widgets, but we don't know how to have icon in Flutter. To have icons in Flutter, we have the widget of icon, and its constructor accepts the icon data. So to access the icons from it, we have the class icons, and from here we can access a lot of icons of Flutter, which comes from the icons class. So here we are going to put the icon of, let's say, delete. And that was it. Now Ctrl S to hot reload, so you can see we got our list tile in here. that is the container which we have set the width and height, box decoration, color gray, and the circle, and that's the title, that's the subtitle, and that's the trailing icon which we have set here in the delete, which looks something like our WhatsApp application. So now what if we want so many widgets in here to see its scrollable view in the list view? So now we will copy this. First of all, let's put comma in here, and we'll copy this and paste it so many times to have the scrollable view in our list view widget. So in the children of list view, we will paste this list style so many times. So I have just copy and paste this list style 20 times. Now Ctrl S to hot reload, and we got this beautiful scrollable view of users. So that's how we can get the scrollable view using our list view widget and just putting the widgets list style or others. So that's how we can have the list view or the scrollable view in our Flutter application. And that was also it for the list style widget of Flutter. But if you look at in here, we have duplicated the code so many times, and you can see we have just wrote or got so many line of codes that are about 308 or 313. So that is not the good practice to do it. To overcome this issue, to not just duplicating our code by pasting the list style so many times, the list view has some constructors that are, if you click in here in front of the list view, if you put the dot notation in here, we have 3 more constructor of list view, that is separated, builder, and also the custom. So first of all, we are going to talk about the list view builder. So let's remove the children from the list just like this. And now let's go and use the builder constructor of list view. So put a dot in here and the builder. So we will get a compile time error in here. So what's the builder mean? The builder constructor of list view construct a repeating list of widgets, and unlike simple list view, it reduces a lot of boilerplate code. So let's see how this works. So we got this constructor which has so many properties, but the most important and the required property is the item builder that is in here, and it accepts a function of context to pass the build context and also the index, and then the open body. And here we are going to return the widget that will be generated so many times. So now to specify how many times our list view builder will generate the specific widget, so for that we have the property of item count in the list view builder, and here we will pass the number of items that we want to generate that times in the item builder. So let's say we again want the 20 items to be generated by the item builder, and in the return we will return the same list style we have created in here. So we got this list style again in the return of the item builder of list. So unlike the simple list view, this builder constructor is going to build this single item we have returned from this item builder 20 times. Now Ctrl S to hot reload, and this will returns our results in the same. You can see we got the same 20 widgets in our UI, but we have reduced a lot of boilerplate code by using just this builder constructor of list view. So whenever you want to build some list of users or some list of widgets or anything you want on your UI, so you must prefer this list view builder constructor but not the simple list view, just because that will just increase the line of codes and nothing else. So next, in the list view, if you do not specify this item count, that is not compulsory in here. Let's comment this out and Ctrl S to hot reload, and we will get the infinite list of widgets in here. You can see that will never ends if you go at the bottom. So we got infinite widgets in here. So we must specify the item count if we want to have the specific items times we want to repeat this item builder to build that times our widget on our UI. So that will be good. So that was the builder constructor of list view, and the next constructor of the list view is list view separated. So what it means? The list view dot separated constructor is used to generate a list of widgets, but in addition, a separator widget can also be generated to separate the widgets. Unlike the builder constructor, here the item count is compulsory, like we cannot comment out the item count, but it's compulsory in here, like we must have to specify the item count in here. So we will uncomment this item count in here, and here one more property is required, that is the separator builder. So the compile time error will be gone, and this also accepts the context and the separator. And now you'll open the body of it, and this is going to return a separator. So the separator will be, let's say, the container, and put the semicolon in here as this is returning from a function, and we will set its height to 20 and its width will be, let's say, double dot infinity. Double dot infinity means the max width, and here we will also specify the color of it, that will be colors dot, let's say, blue accent. Now Ctrl S to hot reload. So we got the blue separator in our widgets of ListView. So that's what the separated ListView constructor means. And next constructor of the separated ListView is the ListView.custom. So what this means, now let's remove the separator builder, the item count, and also the item builder. But in here, let's cut this list style just because we are going to need it in a while. So let's remove everything from here, and this ListView custom is used to build the list of views with custom functionality. Here we have the main parameter in the ListView custom, that is children delegate. So this children delegate is going to accept either the slaver child list delegate or the slaver child builder delegate. So the slaver child list delegate will work the same as we had for the simple list view, and the slaver child builder delegate will work the same as the builder constructor of list view. Like, also test it out. Let's remove this builder from here and also simply put in here the slaver child list delegate, and this accept the list, which is again the list of children, and simply paste this list view or list style in here. Ctrl S to hot reload, and we got the same one item in here as we had in the simple list view. But as this is custom, so it allows us to have both functionalities like the simple list view and also the builder. So that was our simple list view. Now let's remove the slaver child list delegate, remove this list, and put the builder in here. And also now this will give us the compile time error. Remove this list just because now it is going to accept the function and the context and the index and open body, and it's going to return this. So if we Ctrl S and hot reload, so we'll get the same result as we had for the list view builder constructor of list view. There are infinite list of widgets, just because we have to specify one property in here. As we had the item count, we have the child count in here. So we'll simply set the child count to 10 for now. So we will get only 10 items. You can see that is not scrollable just because that are not so many items. So if we set it, let's say again 20, Ctrl S to hot reload, and we again got the same list view builder behavior in the list view custom slaver child builder delegate. So that was the 3 constructor of list view and also the simple work of list view. So we learned about list view to have some scrollable view on our emulator or mobile device, and also we learned about the different kinds of constructor of list view. Now what if we want to have some scrollable widgets in grid in our UI? For that purpose, Flutter gave us the GridView widget. And again, the GridView is also obvious from its name, like to show up something in the grid. And in Flutter, GridView widget displays the items or widgets in 2-dimensional rows and columns. To see it practically, let's go and use this GridView widget also in our Flutter application. So down here, we have again this center widget. Let's remove it and put the GridView in here. So we got the GridView in here. And same like the row and column stack and list view, this also accepts the list of children. But with this also accepts one more property, that is grid delegate. That grid delegate controls the layout of children within the grid view. And this grid delegate accepts, if you hover it, this accepts the slaver grid delegate. So our grid delegate will be slaver grid delegate with cross fixed axis count. And this also accepts one more property, that is the cross axis count. Like how many widgets are there will be in our grid view aligned horizontally. So we will specify it too, like we are going to have 1 or 2 widgets in the grid. But if you specify 3, so we are going to have like 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3, just like in the grid. So let's say we are going to have 2 for now, and we will test also the 3 and 4. So for now let's keep it like this, cross axis count 2, and here in the children we are going to have again some containers to have some boxes to show up in the grid. So let's say we have a container in here. So we got this one container with some width and height and decoration, box decoration, and border radius is 10, like to have some rounded corners and the color light green. Now let's copy this and paste it 4 times. So we got one container 4 times in the children of our grid view. Now Ctrl S to hot reload. So we got these 4 grid containers or boxes on our UI. You can see some little spaces between them as they had some rounded corners. So to give some space between them, we have some properties in the sliver grid delegate with fixed cross axis count, that are the main axis spacing, let's say 10, and the cross axis spacing also 10. The main axis spacing is vertical spacing and the cross axis spacing is the horizontal spacing. Now Ctrl S to hot reload. So we got some spacing between the 4 grid items which we have in the grid view. And also there is a property padding which accepts the edge insets dot all, let's say 10. Ctrl S to hot reload, and we got also the padding from all the sides of these containers inside the grid view. And what if we increase the items in our grid view? Let's copy this and paste it 5 more times. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Ctrl S to hot reload, and we got a scrollable grid view in here, just like the list view. So that's how we work with a simple grid view in our Flutter application. So same like the list view, we have some different constructor also for the grid view. Let's look at them also. So in here we have this grid view. So this has the constructor of, let's say, grid view builder, that is similar to the list view builder. So let's copy one container from here and remove this child from here, just because the builder do not accept any child or children in here, but instead this accepts the item builder. So we got the item builder, same like the list view, it accepts the context, which is this build context of our build method, and the index, like how many items will be there in the grid view, and this return a container. And in the grid view builder, again the item count is not compulsory, like if we do not specify any item count, so this will give us the infinite grid view items in the emulator. So now let's specify also the item builder, not the item builder but the item count, let's say 20. Ctrl S to hot reload. So we'll get 20 grids on our emulator. So that's how the builder constructor of GridView works. And the next constructor of GridView is the GridView custom, which works the same as we had for the list view. Let's copy this container from here and remove this builder from here, also the item count, just because this is going to accept the child delegate and also the grid delegate. So the grid delegate will be again the sliver grid delegate with fixed cross axis count, and the cross axis count will be this time, let's say 3, and main axis spacing will be 10, and again cross axis spacing will also be the 10. And again this children delegate is going to accept the sliver child list delegate. So this will simply accept a list, and if you pass the containers in here, let's say one container, and copy it and paste it one more time, one more and one more, and also let's say 2 more times. Ctrl S to hot reload. So we got these 6 grid in here, just because we have set the cross axis count to 3. And that was a simple custom grid view with the sliver child list delegate. But in case if you pass the sliver child grid delegate, so this will simply work as the grid view builder. So you can also try this out. So now simply remove these containers from here, and let's try out the other constructor of GridView. So the other constructor of GridView is GridView count, and this do not accept the grid delegate. So the GridView and the GridView builder and the GridView custom, let us specify the delegate or grid delegate explicitly. Like we can specify the grid delegate and simply we can put the sliver grid delegate with fixed cross axis count and specify all these properties like cross axis count, main axis spacing, main axis or cross axis spacing. But in case of the grid view count and grid view extent, the other constructor after this grid view count, they do not explicitly accept the grid delegate, but instead they are implicitly accept this. Like let's cut this from here, this sliver grid delegate with fixed cross axis count, and remove this grid delegate from here and paste this in here, and also comment it out just because we are going to need their properties or values. So this accepts the cross axis count directly, and the cross axis count will be the 3, and the main axis spacing will be, let's say, 10, and the cross axis spacing will be 10, and this also accept the padding, and then it accept the children, same like the simple grid view. Now again pass the container in here, so we got the same container as we had in the simple grid view, and this will work the same if we paste it again and again in here, let's say 4 times, and also put the comma right after this container and Ctrl S to hot reload. So we got these in here, and this works the same, but only the difference is this do not accept the grid delegate explicitly, but it accept it implicitly. Like you can see the values we have specified it directly in here, but in case of the grid view builder, grid view custom and the simple grid view, it was accepting the grid delegate and again the sliver grid delegate with fixed cross axis count, and then inside this was accepting the properties like the cross axis count, main axis spacing, cross axis spacing. So that was the only difference between the simple grid view builder and the custom grid view, and that works all the same. If we specify the 4, and this will become just like this, and we specify 5, this will become like this. And if we increase or copy this container one more times and paste it, so this will become just like this. And also we have one more container, not the container but the constructor, that is the grid view extent, and this do not accept the cross axis count, but instead it has the property of max cross axis extent, which is a property which plays a key role in displaying the items of grid views. Like let's say if you specify the 200, so this will show up the, let's say, the cross axis count 3, and if we increase or copy container and paste it one more time, so it will be just like this. But in case if you specify, let's say 1000, so this will become only one single grid, and this will be scrollable just like this. And if we start decreasing it, like let's say 50, so this will become like this. If we make it 60, so this will work just like this. And that was the extent constructor of GridView, and that was how it works. And we'll go in more depth about these GridView and ListView, and also the row and column and stack if you go for real app development in Flutter. Now there is one more widget just same as ListView and the GridView, that is PageView, to show some transition between different pages on our emulator or mobile device. And with this, our 1 week is almost ended. After this section or after this PageView widget, we are going to build an onboarding screen by utilizing this PageView a bit more in depth. So on the left window of directories, we have the lessons and the week 1, where we have the week 1 row and columns, flexible and expanded, stack widget with some position widgets, login page, and the Flutter list view, and also the grid view. So if you want to get code from here, so you can simply get the code from GitHub just from here. So now let's see how we can use the PageView widget in our Flutter application. So down here we have again the center, and in the app bar we have the page view. So now let's remove the center and put the page view in here. So we got the page view in here with a list of children, same like the grid view and the list view. And this list of children is going to be the list of widgets, same as the grid view and the list view. And this page view will return its children in the form of pages that will be scrollable horizontally or vertically. You will see it in a while. So these children can be widgets. You can also create the external widgets, like to create any other stateless widget and simply call it in here. But for now, let's keep these widgets only the containers. Let's create 3 containers in here. So we got these 3 containers in our page view as the children of page view, and this container has the color red and a center child widget, and the child of center is a text widget, and inside this we have the page 1. Like this first container will be our page 1, and the second container will be our page 2, and the third container will be our page 3. Now Ctrl S to hot reload, and we got these pages, and we can swipe between these pages just like this with beautiful transition between them. And also we can change their scroll direction, the property of page view, that is the property of scroll direction, and this accepts the axis just like this, and from this axis we can access the either horizontal or vertical. So by default it's horizontal, so let's make it vertical. Now Ctrl S to hot reload, and we can now horizontally swipe between the pages. And again, these containers also can be your external widgets, either stateless or stateful. So that's how you can use the page view widget in Flutter. So now in the page view, if you want to listen the pages each time it switch, for that we have the property of onPage change in the page view widget. The onPage change property accepts a function and accepts a value just like this, and this value will be the index of our page on which we are currently on. So let's print this value to see it also. So each time when page changed, using the onPage change method, we are simply printing the index of that particular page. Now Ctrl S to hot reload, and to see the print statements we have the run console. Open it up, and when we switch between page or swipe, you can see we got the 1 in here. It means we are on 1 index. If we go back, we got 0 just because we are on 0 index. If we go again forward, and in here we got again 1, and we got 2. So that's how we can listen to our current page we are on. And also there is one more property of page view, that is physics. Close this, and the physics, this accepts the scroll physics, and the scroll physics can be either bouncing scroll physics and some scroll physics, and also never scrollable physics. So let's try out the bouncing scroll physics for now. Bouncing scroll physics, Ctrl S to hot reload, and we got these bouncing scroll physics. You can see these are the bouncing scroll physics of page view, and these can also be in the grid view or also in the list view. And the scroll physics, which is that physics, are by default already applied on the page view, list view or the grid view. Ctrl S to hot reload, you can see this behavior of scrolling physics is the default behavior of page view, list view, grid view, just like that. And we have also the never scrollable scroll physics. Ctrl S to hot reload, now we will never be allowed to scroll between the pages. And also to control the pages of page view, we have the page controller. Now let's create the page controller in our state. So for that we have to convert the stateless widget to stateful widget, and in here in the state we are going to create the page controller. So we got the page controller, its name is page controller. We also initialize this page controller. So using this page controller variable, we will control our pages. As this is not scrollable, by setting the never scrollable scroll physics, we are now not interacting or not allowed to interact with these pages. So we will use this controller to interact with these pages of page view widget. So this page view controller also accepts the initial page, like let's say pass the 1. Now Ctrl S to hot reload or hot restart the application. So we will get nothing just because copy it, and in the page view it accepts also the controller, also pass the page view controller. Now hot restart the application, and we will get the second page as our initial page. You can see we got the page 2 as this is the second page or on the 1 index. So now we will use this page controller to control our page. So in the app bar we have one more property of app bar, that is action. To create the action button, the action button of app bar are aligned here at the right side of app bar. So now we are going to learn one more widget of Flutter, that is the icon button. The icon button means that will be a button which accepts the onPress method to, like when you press this, so what will happen, and also one icon for that icon button. So to create icon button, we have the widget of icon button. Just like this, as I said, it accepts the onPress method and also the icon widget. So on the onPress method, that will be a function, so open body just like this, and we are going to perform some action using the icon button, and this icon will be, let's say, icons dot arrow back iOS and put comma in here and duplicate this and also change this back to forward. Now Ctrl S to hot reload and we got these two buttons in here which for now not working, and now we are going to perform some actions on these in here in the body of on press of these two buttons. So inside the on press we are going to do, as this is arrow back iOS mean the back button, so using the page controller we will do page controller dot animate to page, and this method animate to page accept the page in here, the index of the page, like from one index where we want to go when we press the back button. So we want to go back to the 0 index, and the duration accept the duration, like in how many times or how much time you want to go back to the 0 index. So this accepts the duration widget, and this duration widget accept the millisecond, days, hours, microseconds, minutes and seconds. So we will pass the milliseconds and 500, and the curve is the behavior of when the page switch or swiped. So this accepts the curves, and there are lots of behaviors, so we will use the ease in out. So that will be the same behavior for the forward method. So copy this page controller and paste it also in here, only change this index to 2. And now when we click this forward, so we come to the page 3. When you click this backward, we come to page 1. When you click again this will take us to the page 3 to the index 2, and when we again click this will take us to the 0 index page, which is our page 1. And alternatively we can also use the, instead of animate to page, we can use the previous page, which do not accept any index of the page. So let's remove it, and in the forward we can also use the next page, which also do not accept any index of page, so that will be just like this. Now Ctrl S to hot reload. When we click this will take us forward just like this. When you click this back, so this will take us backward, and we can again change the axis to horizontal. Ctrl S to hot reload. Now this will become horizontal just like this. So that was the page view, and that's how you can control it using this page controller, and also these are some properties of it. And next we have the page view custom and the page view builder. The page view custom is same as the list view custom, grid view custom, just like from here we can also have the sliver child list delegate and the sliver child builder delegate. So it means inside the custom we can also have the builder behavior and the simple list view or the page view behavior. So what you have to do, simply cut this one container from here and remove these two containers from here, just because we are going to use the page view builder. Remove this children and make this builder just like this. Now it again accept the item builder. So we got the item builder with the context and the index, and this item builder is going to return our container widget. So we got this container returned by this item builder of page view. So we got this page 3 in here, but inside this we also have to specify the item count, that will be, let's say 10. Ctrl S to hot reload, and now we are going to have the 10 pages in place. Like click this, you can see we are navigating to the same page again and again, just because here we are going to return the, let's say instead of 3 we will say the page on the specific index. Ctrl S to hot reload, we got the page 6, and you can see page 4, 5, 3, 2, 1 and 0, and this will be from 1 to 9, like 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, just because we have set it to 10 item count. And that's how this works. If you remove this scroll physics from here, and simply pass it the bouncing scroll physics or simply scroll physics, so this will become also the scrollable just like this. This is bouncing scroll physics, so that's why this has the behavior like this. So we can also scroll between the pages like this, and we can also switch the page just like this by clicking these arrows here. And the page view custom is the same. This is not going to accept the item count and the item builder. So let's remove these from here. That's good. Now this accept the children delegate, and this children delegate can be sliver child list delegate, and same as the simple page view, this accept the list of children. And for builder, instead of this list we are going to have the builder, just like this. And now this is going to accept the context and index and the open body, and in the body this is going to return the same container, and inside this also accept the child count, same as the item count in the builder constructor of PageView. So that's how its constructor, custom, and the builder works. And that was some properties of it, like physics, scroll direction, on page change, the controller, and here this was the icon button, the action button of app bar, and this was the page controller. And we'll learn more in depth this page view in the next videos when you go for real app development.